Listen closely, because this isn't motivation, this is a mirror. And today, you face the truth. Your daily routine is either building your success or quietly stealing it. That single truth can change everything if you let it sink in. Because the smallest actions you repeat each day are shaping you far more than the biggest dreams you hold in your mind. You may want a better life, a stronger mindset, a thriving career, a sense of purpose, but wanting isn't enough. Success is built in the shadows, in the unglamorous choices, in the habits that seem too small to matter. But they do. They matter more than you realize. Your routine is the silent force that decides whether your future expands or collapses. And today, you get to choose which path you're building. You see, your real identity is revealed not by what you hope to achieve, but by what you repeatedly do. Your routine is the fingerprint of your character. It tells the truth you don't say out loud. It exposes your discipline, your priorities, your boundaries, your hunger. If your habits align with your vision, success becomes inevitable, even if it's slow. But if your habits contradict your vision, no amount of dreaming, planning, or positive thinking can save you. You cannot become someone great with routines built for someone average. You cannot craft a powerful life with weak habits. When you change your daily actions, you change your destiny. That begins with the courage to ask yourself, do my routines reflect the life I claim I want? A strong routine begins before the world interrupts you. Your morning isn't just a time of day, it's a declaration. It's the moment you tell life, I'm in control. When you start your morning with intention, you start your day with power. You create momentum instead of chasing it. Before the noise, before the demands, before the expectations of others, there is a window of peace that belongs only to you. Use it, build clarity, build discipline, build direction. The person you are in the first hour sets the tone for the person you will be in the next 24. A powerful morning routine doesn't need to be complicated, it needs to be consistent. It is the anchor that keeps you grounded when everything else tries to pull you in every direction. But let's be honest, consistency requires discipline, and discipline isn't easy. It demands honesty, it demands sacrifice, it demands that you choose your future over your feelings. You don't rise to the level of your motivation, you rise to the level of your discipline. Anyone can work hard when they feel inspired. But champions, leaders, visionaries, they show up when they don't feel like it. They take action when it's uncomfortable. They push through when quitting feels easier. Discipline is not punishment, it's liberation. It frees you from the limits of mood and emotion. It gives you the power to choose progress over procrastination. The more disciplined you become, the more unstoppable you feel. In a world drowning in distractions, your focus is your greatest currency. Every notification, every unnecessary conversation, every moment spent scrolling steals a slice of your potential. If you don't defend your attention, the world will consume it for you. That's why your routine must protect your focus with intention. When you give your energy to everything, you give your best to nothing. Success requires deep work, undivided, intentional, uninterrupted effort. It requires boundaries, not apologies. It requires you to say no without guilt so you can say yes to your growth. When your focus sharpens, your path becomes clear. And once your path is clear, your progress accelerates in ways that feel almost unreal. And let's talk about the hard things, the uncomfortable things. The things you avoid because they intimidate you. Your routine must challenge you. Comfort never created someone extraordinary. Growth happens when you lean into the things that scare you, the tasks you postpone, the goals that feel too big. Fear is not a stop sign, it's a signal that you're standing at the edge of becoming someone new. When you embrace discomfort, you unlock strength you didn't know you had. When you push through resistance, you build confidence that can't be shaken. The hard things are the very things that elevate you. Everything you want is on the other side of what you've been avoiding. Finally, success demands accountability. Too many people end their day by simply surviving it. They never pause to evaluate it. They never ask themselves what they built, what they learned, or what they need to adjust. Reflection is the bridge between intention and transformation. When you take a moment each night to review your actions, you turn routines into results. You turn experience into wisdom. Accountability is not about perfection, it's about awareness. It gives you the power to correct your course before small mistakes become major regrets. Your day is not complete until you've looked at it honestly, learned from it, and prepared to rise even stronger tomorrow. Everything you want, every dream, every goal, every breakthrough begins with what you do daily, not occasionally, not when it's convenient, every day. Your routine is the quiet architect of your future. It is shaping you, molding you, defining you. And if you're ready, truly ready, to build a life that reflects your potential, then start rewriting your routine. Start building the habits that match your ambition. Start standing up for the future you deserve. Because success doesn't just happen, you build it day by day, choice by choice, routine by routine, and your next choice starts now. Your morning is the most sacred, influential, and underestimated part of your entire day. Before the world makes demands, before responsibilities begin to pile up, before anyone asks you to give a piece of yourself, you have a window of pure, unfiltered freedom. What you choose to do in that space shapes how you think, how you move, and how you rise. Most people wake up reacting to life. They grab their phone, drown in noise, and hand over their attention before they even open their eyes fully. But successful people, real, grounded, unbreakable achievers, wake up with intention. They understand that a chaotic morning leads to a chaotic life. They know that clarity isn't something you stumble into. It's something you create the moment you wake. The morning isn't just a time of day. It's a decision about who you are, what you're becoming, and what kind of energy you're choosing to bring into the world. When you give the first moments of your day to yourself, you reclaim your power. You silence the noise long enough to hear your own voice. You stop being driven by urgency and start being guided by purpose. Think of your morning like the foundation of a skyscraper. If the foundation is weak, the building can't stand. If your morning is unfocused, rushed, or scattered, the rest of your day becomes survival instead of creation. And far too many people are living in survival mode without even realizing it. You don't deserve to just survive your day. You deserve to build it, shape it, direct it. That begins the moment your feet touch the floor. Your morning should fuel you, not drain you. It should lift you, not rush you. It should remind you who you are, not distract you from who you could become. This isn't about having a perfect morning routine. It's about having an intentional one. You don't need a 2-hour ritual. You don't need 20 steps. You don't need to imitate someone else's formula. What you need is presence, purpose, ownership. Maybe your morning begins with silence. Maybe it begins with movement. Maybe it begins with writing, meditation, prayer, reflection, or a simple moment of gratitude. What matters is that it begins with you, not the outside world. When you take even 5 minutes to center yourself, to breathe deeply, to visualize who you want to be today, something inside you shifts. You stop absorbing life and start directing it. Your thoughts become clearer, your decisions become stronger, and your mind stops running in 1,000 directions and starts focusing on what actually matters. And how often do we forget what matters? How many days blur together because we wake up rushing, hurrying, scrambling, reacting? When your morning is a sprint, your mind never gets the chance to breathe. But when your morning is intentional, you create mental space to think, to plan, to align yourself with your goals instead of your fears. Your morning is where your confidence is built. It's where resilience begins. It's where your emotional strength is trained. You strengthen your mind by choosing to start your day with discipline rather than distraction, with clarity rather than chaos, with direction rather than drifting. And over time, you'll notice something powerful. When you consistently pour into yourself at the start of each day, you stop waiting for motivation and start operating from purpose. Your morning also sets the emotional tone that follows you throughout the day. If you wake up stressed, rushed, and overwhelmed, Your mind carries that heaviness with it hour after hour. But if you wake up with intention, if you take those few sacred minutes to ground yourself, your entire day feels different. You stand taller, you speak with more conviction, you make decisions with more confidence, you move with a sense of direction instead of doubt. A powerful morning doesn't eliminate the challenges you'll face later, but it gives you the strength to face them without breaking. It shapes your attitude, your energy, and your focus. It turns you from someone who reacts to life into someone who leads their life. And here's the truth most people won't tell you. The way you start your day teaches the world how to treat you. When you respect your time, others learn to respect it. When you guard your mornings, others learn that your boundaries are real. When you invest in your growth before you give your energy away, you begin to rise, slowly, steadily, undeniably. Your morning becomes your armor and your advantage. It becomes the place you return to for strength when the rest of the world feels loud. And over time, something extraordinary happens. Your morning routine doesn't just change your day, it changes you. It rewires your mindset. It elevates your standards. It turns discipline into a lifestyle and confidence into your default state. Your morning becomes the daily reminder that you are not here to shrink, rush, or doubt yourself. You are here to build, to grow, to rise. Because when you own your morning, you don't just own your day, you own your future. And the future you deserve begins the moment you decide to rise with intention. Discipline is not a personality trait, it's a decision you make every single day, especially on the days when it feels impossible. It's the invisible force behind every dream that becomes real, every goal that becomes achievable, every transformation that moves from fantasy to fact. People romanticize success, but success is not glamorous. It's built in the quiet hours, the unexciting moments, the uncomfortable choices. Discipline is the part of you that shows up when motivation disappears, when excuses sound tempting, when your mind tries to convince you to take the easy path. And let's be honest, the easy path is always there. It's always whispering, it's always seducing. But the easy path never leads anywhere worth going. You grow stronger every time you choose discipline over comfort, clarity over chaos, commitment over excuses. That choice is where your power is born. Excuses are convenient. Excuses make sense. They sound logical, even responsible. I'm tired. I'll start tomorrow. Today is too stressful. I'm not ready yet. These excuses feel like protection, but they're actually sabotage. They keep you still. They keep you small. They keep you chained to the version of yourself you're trying to outgrow. When excuses take the wheel, your life becomes a cycle of almosts and nearlies. Almost successful, nearly consistent, close but never quite there. Discipline breaks that cycle. Discipline interrupts the pattern. It replaces "I'll try" with "I will." It replaces hesitation with action. It replaces doubt with proof. You don't need to feel ready. You need to feel responsible for your future. And the moment you take ownership of that responsibility, your excuses lose their power. But discipline doesn't mean pushing yourself until you break. Discipline means showing up for yourself with integrity. It means honoring your commitments even when they're inconvenient. It means being loyal to your future, not your comfort zone. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need superhuman intensity. You just need to be consistent enough that your actions stop depending on your emotions. Because emotions are unpredictable. They rise and fall. They shift with weather, stress, fatigue, moods, memories. But discipline is steady. Discipline is the promise you make to yourself and keep, even when you don't want to. It's the quiet truth that says, I deserve the results I'm working for, and actually proves it through action. There will be days when discipline feels natural, when momentum is strong, when everything flows. But there will also be days when discipline feels like dragging your entire body forward, inch by inch. Those are the days that matter the most. Those are the days that build the muscle. Mental, emotional, physical. Anyone can be disciplined when things are easy. But the people who stand out, the people who rise, the people who break barriers, they are disciplined when things are hard. They push through resistance. They work when they don't feel inspired. They commit when their feelings tell them to quit. And every time they push through that discomfort, they write a new story about who they are, someone who follows through, someone who keeps promises, someone who refuses to settle. The truth is, discipline creates a kind of confidence that nothing else can. Not compliments, not talent, not luck. Discipline builds self-respect. It makes you trust yourself. It turns you into someone whose word means something. When you say you'll wake up early, and you do it, your brain learns that you can be counted on. When you say you'll finish the work and you finish it, your confidence grows from actions, not illusions. When you decide to invest in your goals daily, even in small ways, you start to believe you're capable of more. Confidence doesn't come from looking at the path. It comes from walking it, step by step, day after day. Discipline is how you prove to yourself that you are the kind of person who follows through. And once you believe that, truly believe it, you stop fearing failure. Because you know you'll keep showing up until you succeed. And here's the most powerful part. Discipline doesn't just change your day, it changes your identity. Every time you choose discipline over excuses, you shift the trajectory of your life. You become someone who takes control instead of waiting for the perfect moment. Someone who recognizes that progress is not found in giant leaps, but in consistent steps. Someone who understands that greatness is built, not granted. Discipline is the difference between people who wish and people who achieve. Between those who talk and those who act. Between those who dream and those who embody their dreams. When you allow discipline to lead you, your excuses stop defining you. Your actions do. Your growth does. Your results do, because when you make discipline louder than your excuses, you don't just change your habits, you change your entire life. And the life you want becomes the life you build, one disciplined choice at a time. Focus is not just a skill. It's a survival strategy in a world designed to fracture your attention every minute. Every notification, every headline, every distraction is competing for a piece of your mind. And if you're not careful, you'll give away your greatest power without even realizing it. Focus is your ability to choose what matters and ignore what doesn't. It's your ability to say, my future deserves more than my impulses. When you protect your attention, you protect your potential. You protect your dreams. You protect your growth. But when you let every distraction pull you in 100 directions, your life becomes scattered, reactive, chaotic. You may be busy, but you're not progressing. You may be working, but you're not advancing. Focus is the boundary between movement and momentum, between effort and success, between noise and greatness. Distractions don't always show up as pointless entertainment. Sometimes they wear the disguise of responsibilities, urgent tasks, other people's expectations, or false priorities. They feel important, but they drain you. They feel necessary, but they steal time from the goals that actually matter. Before you know it, your day isn't yours anymore. It belongs to whoever shouts the loudest. That's why protecting your focus is an act of self-respect. When you draw a boundary around your mind, you're telling the world, I choose my future over your interruptions. You're choosing depth over noise, commitment over convenience. You're choosing the path that leads somewhere meaningful, rather than the path that feels easy in the moment. And yes, it requires discipline. It requires honesty. It requires the courage to say no when everything around you wants a yes. But that no is what saves you. Your focus reflects what you value most. If you don't consciously decide what holds your attention, your environment will decide for you. And your environment doesn't care about your goals. Your environment doesn't care about your dreams. Your environment cares about consumption. Your consumption. Every platform, every advertisement, every piece of media is engineered to keep your eyes glued and your mind scattered. That's why focus is not natural anymore. It's intentional. You have to build it like a muscle. You have to train yourself to concentrate deeply without being pulled away. You have to create systems and routines that protect your attention like a shield. Because when your focus is weak, your potential leaks. But when your focus is strong, you become unstoppable in ways you never imagined. your productivity multiplies, your creativity sharpens, your decisions become faster and clearer, your momentum becomes undeniable. And here's the truth. Focused people don't have more time, they use their time differently. They prioritize what matters, they eliminate what drains them. They understand the cost of distraction. They know that every minute spent scrolling, worrying, or wandering mentally is a minute that could have been invested in building something meaningful. They don't chase everything. They choose one thing and give it their full energy. They don't bounce between tasks. They commit deeply to the one that moves them forward. Focused people don't rely on willpower alone. They create environments that support their goals. They remove temptations instead of fighting them. They design routines that make discipline easier instead of harder. They build a lifestyle that aligns with their vision. And because of that alignment, their results look effortless. Even when the work behind them is anything but. There's a freedom that comes with focus, a sense of inner power that rises when you control what your mind consumes. You stop comparing yourself to others because you're deeply invested in your own path. You stop feeling overwhelmed because your direction becomes clear. You stop chasing everything because you finally understand that not everything deserves you. Focus simplifies your life. It cuts through the noise. It removes the unnecessary. It brings your energy back to where it belongs, your goals, your purpose, your growth. When you can direct your mind without allowing distractions to hijack it, you become powerful in a way most people never experience. You stop being reactive and start being intentional. You stop being pulled and start leading. You stop existing in fragments and start living in alignment. And the most important truth of all is this: your future depends on the focus you protect today. The person you want to become will not emerge from a life filled with constant interruptions. They will emerge from a life shaped by clarity, attention, and intentional action. Every goal you've ever imagined, every dream you've ever held close, depends on your ability to focus long enough to build it. And that means guarding your attention with boundaries, discipline, and unwavering commitment. It means refusing to let distractions dictate the direction of your life. It means recognizing that your time is limited, your energy is precious, and your focus is the most valuable resource you have. Because when you protect your focus, you protect your future. And the future you're building deserves a mind that refuses to be scattered, distracted, or diluted. It deserves a mind that's fiercely, unapologetically focused. Growth doesn't arrive wrapped in comfort. It doesn't knock softly. It doesn't wait politely for you to feel ready. Growth shows up disguised as challenges, discomfort, fear, resistance, moments that push you to question whether you're capable of more than you've believed. The hard things aren't obstacles meant to stop you. They are invitations to rise. They are the exact experiences that stretch your mind, strengthen your resolve, and expand your identity. Yet most people run from these moments because they mistake discomfort for danger. They interpret fear as a warning instead of a signal. They tell themselves this is too much instead of asking, what is this trying to teach me? Every time you turn away from something difficult, you turn away from a stronger version of yourself. But every time you lean into the discomfort, even just a little, you unlock something new inside you. The hard things shape you in ways the easy things never could. When you choose to do the hard things intentionally, you stop existing and start evolving. You become someone who refuses to settle for the safe, predictable version of life. You start taking risks that reflect your potential rather than your fears. You start stepping into rooms you once felt unworthy of. You start speaking up where silence once controlled you. Doing hard things rewires your identity. It forces you to confront your limits and then pushes you beyond them. It's in those difficult moments, the ones that make your heart race and your mind scream for comfort, that you discover your true strength. Because strength isn't built in calm seas, it's built in storms. Storms you learn to navigate. Storms you survive. Storms that prove you're far more powerful than you realized. And once you feel that strength, once you witness what you're capable of under pressure, you stop running from challenges. You start seeking them. Fear will And eventually, you realize something life-changing. Fear doesn't disappear when you become stronger. You become stronger than the fear. Doing hard things also reveals the truth about your discipline. It shows you whether your commitments are real or conditional. Anyone can follow through when the path is smooth. But when the work becomes demanding, when results come slowly, when obstacles appear at every turn, that's when your intentions are tested. That's where true discipline lives. The discipline to stay focused when your mind wants escape. The discipline to keep going when it feels easier to quit. The discipline to honor your goals even when you're exhausted, overwhelmed, or doubting yourself. This kind of discipline is forged through struggle, not convenience. And once it's built, it becomes unshakable. It becomes a part of you. It becomes the fuel that pushes you through every future challenge with a sense of power rather than panic. The hard things also cleanse your life. They reveal who supports your growth and who feels threatened by it. They show you which habits strengthen you and which ones weaken you. They highlight where you've been holding yourself back, where you've been playing small, where you've accepted less than you deserve. When you challenge yourself, you start noticing the people who encourage your evolution and the ones who only like the version of you that stayed quiet, safe, predictable. The more you push yourself, the more clearly you see what belongs in your future.